Have you ever left a conversation or a social gathering feeling completely drained, but you can't explain why? The truth is, our bodies often don't get tired from people, they get tired from over functioning. Today, we're going to break down why certain people leave you feeling exhausted, what exactly an energy leak is, and how you cannot overextend yourself more than your nervous system can afford. I feel like everyone talks about protecting your energy, but no one actually talks about what that means from a nervous system perspective. Most of the time, it's not that someone is actually literally draining your energy, it's that your body goes into a survival pattern around them or based on the environment that you're in with them. That means that you end up scanning, overthinking, fawning, people pleasing, performing, managing their emotions, trying to predict their responses, shrinking, holding tension, or many other things. All of that burns energy fast. So today I want to help you understand what's actually going on in the body, the story underneath it as well, and then how do we use that information to help us when we're interacting with others so we don't feel completely depleted afterwards. Let's begin by redefining energy leaks. They're not some mystical thing, and they're less to do with being introverted or extroverted than most people think. Energy leaks happen when your nervous system is working overtime and your brain is not conscious of this experience. There are three common forms of energy leak, and we're going to break them down right now. One is an emotional energy leak, and the biggest thing to remember here is this is when you're managing someone else's emotions when you're with them instead of simply being present. Some examples are staying hyper attuned to their tone, trying to keep the peace, walking on eggshells, monitoring their reactions, matching your energy to keep them calm. Essentially, your nervous system is continuously asking, are we safe? Are we okay? And that begins to take an enormous toll. Number two is cognitive energy loops. This is often when you're overthinking during a social interaction, and most people do this because their body actually doesn't feel safe. Some examples are analyzing every word you say, rehearsing conversations, trying to anticipate how someone might respond, or replaying everything afterward. Your brain is essentially buffering the entire time. I also like to think about this when people have not practiced active listening, and so you're listening to respond, and so you're kind of creating what you're going to say back to the person as they're still talking. That is a cognitive energy leak. And number three is a somatic energy leak. This is when your body is holding tension without you realizing it. Some examples are shoulders raised, jaw clenched, breath held, stomach tight, heart racing, and fawn mode impulses. Even when you're smiling and fine, your body is still working overtime behind the scenes. When people talk about feeling drained, these energy leaks are really what they're describing. Now, there are specific nervous system reasons why some people drain you more than others, even when they're not doing anything wrong. So let's go through them. Reason number one, your body remembers who you need to be around them. This is often the most common. So let's go through some examples. With certain people, even friends, your body takes on an old role of the helper, the calm one, the strong one, the listener, the one who keeps the peace, the caretaker. And I want you to know that you are not actively choosing the role. Your body is automatically stepping back into it. And I'm curious, if any of those resonated, let me know in the comments which one is you. Number two is that they activate an old story loop. So the person you're interacting with may resemble someone from your past that's triggering a nervous system response. Even though they may not look the same, it's giving off a similar energy. Let's go through what this may look like. Your system senses unpredictability, intensity, emotional neediness, disapproval, criticism, chaos, pressure. Thus, you shift into the survival pattern you initially learned in response to those triggers. Now, it might just be one of those, not all of them. Those are just some examples. But what I want you to understand is this is a story loop at work. Now, I have a video on story loops and a free workbook, so I'll talk to you a little bit more about that at the end. Reason 3 is that you're over-functioning to avoid discomfort. This is really common when you're with someone who may be sad, overwhelmed, stressed, unregulated, ungrounded, and you automatically try to regulate them. So this is often unconscious. You may not even want to be doing it, but you end up doing it because it helps your nervous system feel more safe. But it's very draining. This was a big one for me. Reason number 4 is if you're with someone who struggles to regulate, they actually may hijack your own regulation, your own stability, which sounds a little funny, but essentially they are plugging in and co-regulating with you. It's often not intentional and it's definitely not malicious, but the result is that you end up doing the emotional labor of 2 people instead of 1. And personally, 1 is enough. Reason number 5 is that your boundaries actually collapse around them. If someone doesn't honor your pace, your space, your needs, or anything else, your body then defaults into a familiar pattern to keep you safe, which can be fixing, people-pleasing, fawning, or any of the other things we've talked about. The result is that all of these elements end up draining your nervous system more. So let's talk about what happens when your nervous system enters a survival state around someone else. Here's what's happening physiologically. Number 1, your heart rate is going to increase. Even if this only occurs slightly, it's still added effort. 2, your brain often goes into monitoring mode, so you're collecting data the entire time, which is exhausting. 3, your respiratory system often shifts, so your breath becomes more shallow, which actually makes you tired faster. 4, your muscles tighten and tension consumes a lot of energy. 5, your prefrontal cortex goes offline, so you're actually not fully present, you're managing. 6, you lose access to genuine connection. Connection is energizing. Survival mode is not. You need to remember that your body is smart. It's trying to protect you, but protection isn't free. It costs energy. So I'm going to pop up on the screen some examples of things I want you to ask yourself to begin to identify who you may be spending time around that is actually draining you. 1, whom do I find myself over-explaining? This is a cognitive leak, okay? Around whom do I feel responsible for the emotional tone? That's an emotional labor leak. Around whom does my body tense without permission? That's a somatic leak. Who do I prepare for mentally before seeing? That's an anticipatory survival mode and one you need to step out of. Who do I need long recovery time after spending time with? That's a deep nervous system activation. And bonus question, who do I feel more myself around and why? The reason why this question is so important is because it helps us understand not only who we feel dysregulated around, but who we feel regulated around, because we want more of that. Now, once you notice one of these energy leaks happening, I don't need you to cut that person out of your life completely, unless of course you want to. There are small, subtle, and gentle things we can start to do to support our nervous systems. 1 is going to be micro boundaries. They don't need to be big and intense. Even small ones can be very supportive. Let's go through a few examples. Shorter visits, ending calls sooner, redirecting conversations, taking bathroom breaks, and stepping outside for fresh air. Small boundaries can prevent massive drains. Number 2 is to name the pattern before it starts. Start to identify for yourself, oh, this is the person I tend to overfunction around. Just the awareness helps us interrupt the cycle of autopilot, which goes into the draining of the nervous system resources. 3 is to lower your shoulders and lengthen your exhales. These are actual things you can do in the body to help communicate to your nervous system that you are safe. It will help your energy drain slow down. 4 is to stop managing other people's emotions. Even though it helps you feel safe, you need to interrupt it. It's not your job to fix or to monitor or to help. You don't have to be their grounding system. 5 is to choose neutrality over performance. You don't have to be overly warm or helpful or agreeable. You can just be neutral. You can just exist. You can just be present. Personally, that's a really hard one for me. I feel like I'm being cold, but it's okay. 6 is to identify your socially safe people. So when I asked you that bonus question of who do you actually feel really good around, that is like your regulation cue. What are some people that actually allow you to authentically be yourself and it feels really easy to be regulated? Number 7, and most importantly, is to bring in self-compassion. This is not a flaw, so do not be hard on yourself. This is truly a nervous system pattern, and patterns can be rewired. It's important to remember that if you walk away from certain people feeling drained or really tired, you're not being dramatic, you're not too sensitive or too much. It's okay. It really just means your nervous system was in the background doing the work you were never taught to notice. Once you truly understand your energy leaks, you can start to close them, which feels amazing and very empowering. As I mentioned, if you want to dive deeper into the patterns and the stories behind some of these feelings, I created a free workbook in the description box down below about your story loops, really learning how these patterns came to form and what you can do about them, as it is specific to your situation, what you're feeling, and who you're around. I also created a video on story loops, which is really helpful to get more context around where some of these patterns came from. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next Sunday.